friends, I would like to say that we have reached the end of our forum on Latin American democracy, and along these lines we have a very short session. We are not having any further speeches, but I would like Mr. Manuel Ordorica, in representation of the Colegio de México, to address the audience, please. Well, I would like to congratulate all the speakers and presenters in this fourth forum on Latin American democracy. We have had excellent works being presented on this forum, on this event, and now we will have to analyze what we have talked about in order to bring them to action. This last session, I think, has been extremely enriching. It has been of great interest on everyone and for the entire country. In this forum, we have gathered important personalities of academic life, public life, and this virtuous connection allows us to make progress in policies and in politics in our countries. I would like to congratulate Mr. Manuel Carrillo, who has been in charge of the entire organization of this event alongside us. I would also like to acknowledge the excellent teamwork of all the people who participated in the making of this event. Of course, the IFE, the FCE, IDEA, the OAS, and finally, I hope that you felt in home here in the Colegio de México. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words of Dr. Ordorica. Now we will give the floor to Dr. Kevin Casas. Thank you so much, Manuel. I would just like to thank, on behalf of the OAS and its Secretary General, Don José Miguel Insulza, to all the people who have made this great meeting, this great celebration, great discussion possible. Of course, the first one of those goes to the IFE, but also to the other co-host entities, to Idea Internacional, to the Colegio de México, to IFES, all of them really, and the FCE, they all should receive our acknowledgement for inviting us to be part of this effort. Also, I would like to add a congratulation. I would like to congratulate very especially Don Leonardo Valdés, the chairman of the IFE, that from the perspective of the OAS has been a great ally when it comes to all the things we do in electoral matters, and as we all try to do in life, we always try to look for the best people to create alliances. I wish you, Mr. President, the best in the future, in your future performances, and the best tribute for you is to say that even when you're not here in the IFE will continue doing its work, because it is a great institution, and that is the greatest thing we can say to a public servant. And I would also like to thank, and this is an accumulated debt due to many reasons, I would like to thank Dante Caputo. Dante has been one of the great propellers of this forum, not only with the contribution he has made in this occasion with an excellent text, but also because he is really one of the fathers of this idea and will continue to be so. And from my perspective, Dante used to have my position in the OAS, and many of the things we can do from the OAS has Dante's seal, so I would like to publicly thank Dante in this occasion. And I think it has been very important to have this discussion on democracy right here in Mexico and right here in this period of time, in this moment, because to tell you the truth is that looking at it from the outside, it's fascinating what's going on in Mexico right now. This is a moment in which in this country really important things are being discussed. Not in all countries these things going on, but in Mexico they are. The experiment you are in right now to explore the limits of the consensus in a democracy, the capabilities and capacities of political parties to lead society towards a group of reforms that have taken a long time. What are the capabilities of the political system to process a very important amount of reforms? These are all fundamental questions, and what goes on here will have an effect that will set the example for the rest of the region. So I celebrate this discussion. I think this event deserves to be celebrated for a very deep, profound reason, which is that we cannot have a democracy, at least a high-quality democracy, without a high-quality public debate. And this is exactly what this event encourages and fosters. So I think that what we've been talking about has to do with this, with having allowed throughout the last 4 years for the creation of a space in which democracy does what it does best, which is to have the capability of the capacity to see itself in the mirror, to have the capability to discuss in order to identify the challenges of this democracy and which are the solutions, and do this based on the exchange of opinions. And throughout these last few days we have had a fascinating discussion on challenges in poverty, inequality, insecurity, the lack of institutions, and of all those pending tasks, which resolution is an indispensable requirement so that Latin America can own the future that belongs to this region according to its potential. So looking for this solution to this very profound structural barriers is very important. It is not, honestly, I think that it's not what we get from the earth and how much fresh water do we have. If our future development and the future development would depend on our capacity to get natural resources from the earth, the Republic of Congo should be in the G7, and that's not the case. It's the capacity of creating institutions and creating societies to foster the human development of all their citizens. And while saying this, I'd like to make a confession. We have been talking a lot about the competitors who appear to be appearing on democracy, the alternative models that are maybe more authoritarian. And I'd like to say something. I think that plural societies such as the one we have proven to have in this forum have the advantage as long as they are capable of bringing on the table all the opinions, putting them all on the table in order to find solutions. And I am sure that from that discussion our democracies will be able to improve their performance. But let us be careful. I think that it is a task, everyone's task, to create the conditions so that the democracy gets results. But we need to be able to defend democracy from a normative position, not only from the results it provides. Democracy, it's inherently good because it is the only system which treats us with the dignity of being a human being. It's the only system that does not treat us as underage people. And that is its value. The value of democracy is an intrinsic value regardless of the results. So what's on the foundation of this is a normative discussion. What has propelled all this discussion is this normative matters of how to make these democracy matters. And the Vice President Astori was talking about this, how to eliminate discrimination and to make possible the public participation of everyone. So how can we make this a reality? That's a challenge we have, and that is what we need to do. I celebrate the decision that the democracy has to do with participation of women in democracy. This is one of the great pending tasks, but also one of the great fields in which democracy is breaching a gap from quite a while now. I would like to end saying that the OAS is completely committed to this effort of having this space of commitment and democracy in Latin America. And we are still committed on this because it's an institution whose reason of being is defending and promoting democracy. This exercise is the best example of what a plural society can be and is, a society that is capable of exchanging opinions to identify challenges and solve problems. And this society, as long as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, is the only one that is worth living in. Thank you, Kevin Casas. Now we will give the floor to Dr. Ávila, representative of IDEA Internacional. Thank you very much. IDEA Internacional would wish to thank Mr. Ordorica for the hospitality in this institution, the Colegio de México. I would like to thank Dr. Valdés for the opportunity of participating with the IFE in these activities, which are very important to promote democracy. Also to Dr. Casas for the opportunity of the cooperation with the OAS. So we, with this type of commitment, we meet our tasks of promoting worldwide legitimate, efficient and sustainable democracy. And as we did a year ago, when closing the works of the third forum on Latin American democracy, I would like to quote the first indigenous president, until we know, from what we know, that Latin America had a Mexican called Benito Juárez, who was born in 1806, who died in 1872, and which in 1818, at 12 years old, he only spoke Zapoteco, and when he died, he spoke 5 languages in 1872, and he had been president of Mexico from 1858 up until his death. To remember 2 of his phrases, of his quotes. The first one is that, like we said, it's in the entrance of the main room, the main hall of the IFE. Democracy is humankind's destiny. Liberty, its weapon, which is indestructible, and the perfection, the ends towards it's walking to. And I would also like to say that amongst the individuals as well as amongst nations, respect to other people's rights
viviendo en democracia, la paz y los derechos
That means peace.
más factibles. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. And finally, we will give the floor to Leonardo Valdés, and I would like to publicly thank my boss and friend, Dr. Leonardo Valdés, for having supported us in all international initiatives, and in a way I think remembering is having hope and a vision for the future. We have talked about the ones that don't have opportunity or hope, but we have both opportunity and hope, and we will build on them. And Leonardo Valdés built hope in international matter. So thank you very much. I will give the floor to my boss. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Dr. Ordorica. Thank you, Dr. Ávila. Thank you, Dr. Casas. I would like to say that I am convinced, after following some of the panels, some of them I wasn't able to attend because of other things I had to do, but my team has been here throughout, and they have talked to me about the proposals, the comments, the ideas that have been developed. And I would like to say that I am convinced that when in 2020 we read the excellent book written by Dante Caputo, who actually we need to thank for his thoughts, we will find that book, and we would also like to thank the FCE for its prompt publication. That book will allow us to know how much progress we made in three main topics for democratic life in the Americas. We will be able to have parameters which will tell us how inequality is doing, how have we been able to incorporate women and the youth and the indigenous people to the development, to the segregated sectors of our continent. I will also say that when we read this and we will see the statistics of that year in 2020, of how we are doing against poverty, which achievements will we have met to get out of poverty of a lot of people that I'm very worried that in Mexico more than 50% of the population lives in poverty. And I'm also sure that we will also have elements to analyze the amount of success or the successes we will have had when it comes to security, so that security is not a problem for our population, so that our citizens are able to live in peace and they can develop and perform their activities in peace. I am sure that a good part of the solutions that will be knitted in Latin America in the next few years have to do with what has been spoken here, with what has been said here, with the plurality of thoughts, reflections, of points of view, with the confrontation of ideas that, as Kevin Casas was accurately saying, is the essence of democracy. Because democracy exists there, in a place where the citizens have access to information, also have the opportunity of communicating their truths and also their proposals. I am sure that this idea we have maintained for 4 years now between the IFE and the OAS is a great idea. I also celebrate the 5th Forum on Democracy, so it can talk about participation in women in our democracy, because here in Mexico we are just We just have 60 years, just during the last 60 years, women have been able to vote, and we have not advanced enough when it comes to their participation in political life. And that, unfortunately, is not a characteristic that is exclusive of Mexico, but of all Latin America. Such that I am sure that this alliance between the IFE and the OAS will continue on, will continue to bring results, to allow us to reflect on our democracies and especially to find solutions to the problems in our democracies. I would like to thank wholeheartedly the support of International Idea, the support of the IFES, and also for the Colegio de México for being our host for the third and fourth forum on Latin American democracy. I won't make any more decisions on what will happen on the fifth forum, but I trust that the serious professional work of the organizers will reap its very good benefits. To all the speakers, to all the moderators, to Manuel Carrillo Poblano's work team, but especially to all the students that were here during 3 days participating in this forum, thank you very much, and I wish you all the success in all your projects. Thank you.